Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville on this beautiful first Sunday of 2024. We are so grateful for your presence here this morning in the sanctuary and also for those that are joining us live on YouTube. Welcome. My name is Peggy Ruth. I will be your celebration assistant this morning, and I am here with our senior minister, the wise and wonderful Don Lansky. And we have a special treat for you in the music department. I'll let our multi-talented music director, Blair Jones, tell you about that.
Well, we have a special guest today that everybody's always excited to see around this time of year. We have Davina Jackson as our featured singer today.
So with that announcement, let's open with song.
Upon me, whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me, whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me, whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me, whoa. I used to think that I had to, I used to think that I should. Scripture told me that I had to be good, but now I love because I want to. I love because I am free, blinded by the Spirit. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, yeah.
The Spirit of God is upon me.
On me.
Oh,
yeah. The Spirit of God is upon me. Upon me, oh, the Spirit of God is upon me, oh, I don't need any prodding, I don't need any low, I want to sing with all my heart, and God's my all in all, I let go of my burden, loving God made me free, blinded by the Spirit. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, yes, it is.
the Spirit of God is upon me.
Upon me.
Oh, the Spirit of God
is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, yes, it is.
The Spirit of God is upon me.
Oh,
we have a nice little guitar solo. My duty, I thought it was my job. Somewhere I believed that loving God would be hard, but loving God is wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. I thank God for my freedom. Let me tell you, the Spirit of God is upon me. Yeah. It's upon me. Whoa, Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, Spirit upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville. Welcome to everybody who's online, and welcome to anyone who's here for the first time. Unity of Charlottesville welcomes people of all faiths, all religions, all cultures, all race, creed, sexual orientation, gender identity. Everybody is welcome here. So I'm glad you're here this morning. Hope you had a good New Year and New Year's Eve. It's our tradition, of course, to begin with prayer. So let's just take a moment. And we are through the holidays and into this new year. A new year filled with hope and expectation, maybe a little bit of fear. We're going to work on that this year. And we have the opportunity, as always, in the beginning of a new year, to start fresh, to start new, to make changes of areas that need to make changes. And to affirm who and what we already are, that we already have all of the wisdom and courage and faith and strength. All of our 12 powers are lively within us. We just have to choose to activate them, choose to choose. And so at every moment, we have that choice. At every moment. So we give thanks for this privilege this morning. If there's anyone that you know at this moment who is in need of healing, whether it's yourself or someone else, someone you love, maybe a world situation, I want to invite us just to take a moment, direct energy and attention to that person, to that situation. Shine the light of love, the light of peace. All prayers are answered as we send forth those vibrations into the universe. And we say, thank you, God. And we pray in the name and after the nature of the indwelling Christ. Amen.
And now let's close this time of prayer by affirming our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotent. And now it's time for our favorite song. Please stand, welcome one another, greet your neighbor, the handshake, however is appropriate.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
And time for the teens and the children to go back on with Mark. Mark is at the back of the sanctuary. And have a good time in Sunday school. Well, we have lots of opportunities for transformation. On Friday, January 12th in the evening, we'll have a kirtan with Gershon and Gina. I guess these are folks that are traveling around the circuit. Jeff, I don't know if you want to say anything about these folks. So, sorry? Sounds good. Okay, good, yeah. So the kirtan there on January 12th, and also another kirtan on January 20th. So if you really enjoy getting together and just singing sacred chants, this is a good opportunity to do that.
And Ginger Collier's book study group is ongoing. There's information online about her class. The next meeting is the 13th, which is a Saturday.
And Reverend Marge Brown will be here on January 21st, and she'll be doing a workshop on chakra balancing, chakra clearing and balancing. That's kind of her specialty, and she's been doing this on a national circuit, speaking at churches. She also spoke at the National Ministers Conference, so should be an interesting seminar, and that's at 1 o'clock on January 21st. A little feedback here, Greg. And Tony, you want to come up? So if you're making an announcement, come up front so we can do this. Okay. She's raising Cain.
Yes. We wanted to have this be an exciting announcement, so I thought I'd start with a little drama. We are actually super excited about this new project for community engagement team and for us to serve. Habitat for Humanity does a faith build project in February, and Unity has signed up for 2 days. One is February 2nd, that's a Friday, and the other is February 17th, which is a Saturday. Now, we have a limited number of spots. So on Friday, there's 7 spots open, and on Saturday, there's 5. So they assured me no skills were necessary. So you don't have to know how to drywall or anything, right? You just have to come, and they said the only thing we need is motivation. So it starts at 8:45 to 3:30. There's a 30-minute lunch, so it's a really full day, but it seems like such a great opportunity to build houses in Southwood. So please, there's a sign-up in the front, so if you're interested, please put your name, phone number, and email address, because we'll need to get a hold of you for you to fill out more forms for Habitat. And you have to be 16 years old to do that.
Great.
Most
Just
of
out of
us
curiosity,
qualify.
how many people think they might be interested in helping out?
Awesome.
Perfect.
I'd love to see
Wonderful.
that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
I'm not totally sure, but I think it's in the southern part of Charlottesville. 5th Street Extension. Okay.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Tony.
Let's do this right this time.
Maybe. We'll see. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And Tony is this is for her first official day as the new assistant treasurer of your board of trustees. So.
And Reverend Patricia is going to share with us about her workshop that's coming up on Saturday, February 3rd.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's called Winter Meditation Retreat, Deepening Silence. And it'll be on Saturday, February 3rd, 9:45 to 4 p.m. here in person, not online. And I'm just so excited about it. Many of you have asked, is this only for new meditators? No. It's for new meditators and people who've had a long time experience with the practice of meditation as well. All levels are welcome. Because what we're doing here is really answering the question, why is it important to go into the silence and rest, particularly in winter? Why are we doing this in winter? What is the benefit of this in winter? And we'll be looking at that from the 5 element theories. There is a great benefit to rest in winter, perhaps more so than any other time of the year. And there is a great cost if you're not doing that in winter as well. So we'll fill in all of that information. And, you know, the important thing is to really be together in a group. And we have plenty of people, so we will be having the retreat. We will hold the retreat. We have the minimum exceeded for sure. Don and I have been listening and doing our meditation practice with the TM movement for these 2 weeks, where they asked for 10,000 meditators to go to India to do a program together all in the same place. And they got 16,000 TM meditators and siddhas are in India right now doing their practice together. So we have been coordinating our practice in our home. And I tell you, you can feel the difference. I can feel the difference. We can feel the difference. That's why it's so important to do your meditation alone, of course, but also to do it in a group setting, because the group energy amplifies the benefits of the meditation. So if you're thinking of doing it, please look on the website. Talk to me. I'm here. I'll be after the service as well if you have any questions about what we'll be doing that day. We have many different kinds of meditation to really bring us more deeply into stillness, into the silence. And by the way, the early bird cost extends till this Saturday, the 13th. So if you're thinking of signing up, take the early bird cost before it goes up. So I hope to see all of you there, and thank you, many of you who have already signed up. I'm very excited about the group that's forming. Thank you.
Thanks. And did you know that we have a library downstairs? We have a fantastic spiritual library downstairs. It comes from a lot of donated books. It also comes from the very first Unity minister of this church, of Unity of Charlottesville, back in 1978. When he died, he left us his library, and it was quite an extensive library. So you can go in there, you can browse, you can take books out and bring them back, of course. And this is being curated by Ginger Collier and Wayne Thomas. So it's just downstairs off of the fellowship area. So when you go down to the art show today, also take a look at the book library.
And the art show was such a success last year. We are continuing it again in 2024. Jane is presenting her work during the month of January, and that will be displayed downstairs on the terrace level. So when you go to check out the library, take time to look at her beautiful artwork as well.
And Jean, come on.
Happy New Year, y'all. It is time to unbling our sanctuary. Wah. So, but before I go into some of the details, I'd like to thank all of the elves who helped us decorate. Would y'all please stand up and let's show them some love. Yay! Thank you so much. So it should only, first of all, it's going to be after service, right after service, and I've got everything ready to go. It should take only a half hour to take everything down. If you are going to tackle the Christmas tree, if you take down the stars and put them in a stack, I'll take them home and take the strings off and then recycle the stars. So I will be in the back of the sanctuary right after church, and thank you in advance for your help. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jean. Mm-hmm. And actually, I've had some requests. When you take the stars down, could you, Jean, when we take the stars down, can we just not throw them out? Can we just put them somewhere? Well, I've had requests for people who want to take their stars home. Okay, great. Thanks.
Wednesdays, we have our healing half hour at 6:30 on Zoom. It's a very powerful group. So please, this is your invitation to join us. or if you're not available at that time, you can send a prayer request into the church office, and the group will pray with and for you.
And just a reminder that today is Fellowship Sunday, so we will have fellowship right to these doors. Marge wanted me to announce that they're going to be stopping, I think after the next one, they won't be serving food down there anymore. So if there's a sign-up sheet if you'd like to volunteer to bring some food or some snacks, just some light snacks on Fellowship Sundays. Otherwise, there'll just be coffee and tea, and that will be provided by the hospitality team. So.
And let's join together now in our mission statement. Unity of
Charlottesville
Charlottesville empowers everyone to express their unique divinity, making a positive difference in the world.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what I had to say. I release and I let go. I let my spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I believe, let go.
The spirit from my life, and my heart is open wide.
Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.
No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit.
Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
You can go down. Thank you, Davina and the music team. Thank you so much. Well, a man and a woman go to the gym, and the receptionist says, "Why are you here?" And they say, "Well, we're here to join the gym." And the receptionist says, "Well, is this a New Year's resolution?" And the woman says, "Yes." And she says, "Well, we have a special one-day plan. It gives you 4 selfies in front of the weights and exercise machines." Someone prayed this prayer for New Year's, which I really love. "Dear God, make my bank account fat and my body thin." And please don't mess it up like you did last year. So how about if instead of a New Year's resolution, we talk about a New Year's evolution instead, a New Year's evolution. You know, last week we had this burning bowl ceremony. We wrote down the things we wanted to let go of and release. We burned them up in a fire. And then we did the white stone where we created an intention for 2024, something that would anchor us, something that if we kind of forgot who we were or if we felt we were getting lost, we could look at it and we could remember, that's who I say I am. That's the intention I create. And these are rituals of movement in which we recognize that every beginning has an ending and every ending has a new beginning. So someone gave Patricia and I a beautiful amaryllis plant for Christmas, and we watched it grow and blossom. It grew this incredibly huge flower. We joked about it. We said, this is the flower that ate Chicago. You know, it was just so big. It was taking over everything. And the flower began to die, and in its place, a new shoot came up, and now new flowers come up. New flowers that are just like this one have been coming up, and that's how it goes, isn't it? The seed becomes a shoot, the shoot becomes a flower, the flower produces seeds, the seeds go into the ground, they die to give rise to a new shoot, and so on and so on and so on. Everything is dying and then being reborn and dying and born again. And like that, we choose to let things go from the past so that we can make a vacuum, we can make a space for our new good to emerge. These are all movements in consciousness. So in Romans 12:2, Paul says this, do not conform to the pattern of this world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. It's kind of an unusual passage in a way, you know. First of all, what is conforming to the pattern of this world? What does that mean, to conform to the pattern of this world? And I think it means identifying with outer conditions and appearances as if they're true, or identifying with outer conditions and appearances and being so absorbed with the material side of life that we forget the spiritual side of life. We forget who we are. Or it could mean believing what hateful politicians say and do to gain power and stay in power, or assuming that war and violence is the only way to resolve conflict. These are ways of the world's patterns. Spiritual transformation is about the movement in consciousness. It's a renewing of the mind, which means letting go of negativity and the obstructions to our full creative intelligence and embracing something that's more positive, something that's more constructive, something that's more divine, more godlike. You know, we know the qualities of God. We might have different impressions about what God is, but we have pretty common ideas, I think, about what being God-like means. You know, we know that love has to be part of that, compassion has to be part of that, nonviolence is part of that, all of those things. So these are choices that we make in the service of transformation so that we can become more and more true to the Christ nature that is within us. And this passage says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. Now, there's another scriptural passage that tells us that we can test God. It's in Malachi 3:10, where the Lord is extolling the virtues of tithing. And it says, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. So in other words, God is saying to Malachi here, try tithing 10% and see what happens. Watch for the blessings that I bestow upon you and validate or invalidate this for yourself. Put this to the test. So now in this verse in Romans, Paul is saying, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, and then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. Now imagine that. We get to test and approve what God's will is. We get to do that, right? And if we take it literally, this kind of throws things a little bit upside down, right? Because all those times when we question in agony, what is God's will for me? Is God's will for me to do this? Should I be doing that? Should I go here? Should I go there? What should I do? My will is thy will, but what is thy will? Thy will is my will, but how do I know that it isn't my will or God's? We get all tied up about all this stuff, right? Paul is saying your spiritual transformation is in consciousness. It's how you grow in your perception and in your perceiving of what God's will is, so that God's will no longer becomes a question, right? But something that you're in alignment with from the deepest recesses of your inner being, the core of your being. And how do you get there? You get there by renewing your mind in consciousness. So there's a concept in Zen Buddhism called Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. And John Kabat-Zinn, a Buddhist teacher, explains that beginner's mind is an orientation to the present moment. A moment that has never happened before and will never happen again. That's the present. Beginner's mind is seeing as if for the first time, not seeing through the lens of opinion or prejudice or ideas or mental constructs, but seeing beyond that. And he says when our minds are so full of expertise, we can sometimes be closed to new possibilities or to other possibilities, but in beginner's mind, there is only limitless possibility that anything can happen. And I was been reminded of that this week. Patricia mentioned this course that's going on in India, this TM course, where there are 16,000 meditators in one place meditating all day long, and another group of 2,000 people in Iowa. And so we've been watching the evening seminars, the evening courses we've been participating. And there was a course there hasn't been a course like this in 40 years. 40 years ago in Fairfield, Iowa, there were 7,000 people that were gathered to do their meditation in one place. And we could never recreate that for 40 years. And then suddenly this course came along and we had this amazing response. But what has been interesting for me is that I was there at that course 40 years ago. And some of the webinars have been talking about a little bit of the backstory behind that course, why that course came to be, why there was an impetus to get 7,000 people all at once at that particular time with only 3 weeks' notice. So imagine trying to get 7,000, organizing 7,000 people, recruiting 7,000 people from all over the world, and they converge on this little dinky town in Iowa, right? For 2 weeks, that's what they do. So the backstory was really interesting. The backstory was that in 1983, the world was on the brink of nuclear war. Did you know that? I didn't know that piece of history. That there was a huge NATO exercise, and the Soviet Union was threatened by this exercise, and the leader at that time, Andropov, felt that this was actually not just an exercise, but an invasion. And so he was determined to do a first strike. And so there were intense negotiations going on back and forth. And as this was going on, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi said, we've got to do something. We've got to get people and generate some coherence in this world, some peace in this world. And so that was the impetus for having this course, with 3 weeks' notice. So I learned about the back, I just was there being on the course. What I didn't know was that in 3 weeks they had to get 200 trailers, a caravan of 200 trailers making its way from Indiana to Fairfield, Iowa. They had a truck, several trucks with sheets and pillows and mattresses that disappeared. That just disappeared. So they had to scramble and find new sheets and new, They had a kitchen. They built a building that could house 7,000 people to meditate in one place at one time. They built it in 3 weeks. They said it was impossible, that it couldn't be done. And they built it in 3 weeks. They had to build a kitchen. The kitchen they couldn't get the units in time. So the refrigeration for the kitchen was a storeroom that had a window that you could open slightly, because it was like 20 degrees outside, or 30, below freezing. Sometimes it was 20 below zero, actually, there. And for the freezer, they opened the window all the way, right? So they said it was impossible. So that's beginner's mind. Beginner's mind is that everybody tells you it's impossible, it cannot be done, and you do it anyway, right? You just do it anyway. You make it happen. You think out of the box, and you make it happen. So let me show you this about beginner's mind.
Unlock inner serenity. The empty cup. A young monk came to a Zen master and asked, "How can I achieve enlightenment?" The master replied, "Empty your cup." The monk thought about this for a long time. He went away and tried to empty his cup of all its contents, both physical and mental. He gave away all his possessions. He stopped thinking about the past and the future, and he simply focused on the present moment. One day, the monk returned to the master and said, "Master, I have emptied my cup." The master smiled and said, "Now, fill it up again." The monk was confused. "But I thought you said I had to empty my cup." The master replied, "Yes, you must empty your cup of all its contents in order to fill it up with something new. But once you have emptied your cup, you can fill it up with anything you want. You can fill it up with knowledge, with wisdom, with love, or with anything else that you choose." The monk understood. He realized that enlightenment is not about emptying oneself of everything, but about filling oneself up with the things that are truly important. The moral of the story is that we must be willing to let go of the old in order to make room for the new. We must be willing to empty our cups of all our preconceived notions and beliefs in order to fill them up with new knowledge, wisdom, and love, and joy and peace.
We get to fill our empty cup with whatever we want to create, whatever we choose to create. But first we have to empty our cups. So beginner's mind means being present to what is, both the pleasant and the unpleasant. And to do that, we often have to slow down, pause, step back, take a breath, and be open to wonder and appreciation. So the current models from NASA tell us that all of the hydrogen and helium in the known universe was created within 5 minutes after the Big Bang. And that every atom of oxygen in our lungs, carbon in our muscles, calcium in our bones, iron in our blood, all of it was created inside a star. And so you've heard the famous quote by Carl Sagan, "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself." And one of the ways of confirming this is by analyzing what's known as cosmic dust. Scientists call this pre-solar grains. And a pre-solar grain is created by nucleosynthesis during the explosion of stars, long before our solar system was born. And they're found in meteorites that have crashed to Earth. Some of them are 4.6 to 5.5 billion years old. And scientists can go and look at these meteorites and extrapolate some of this cosmic dust. They're under an electron microscope, which is what this is. There are few microns in size, which means that they're 100 times thinner than the width of a single hair. Really tiny. All of the elements in our body, all of them, are from dying and exploding stars. All of the molecules and atoms that make up our body. We are literally star stuff. Which led Brian Swimme, who is an author and an evolutionary cosmologist, to say that 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth was a flaming molten ball of rock, and now it can sing opera. It's a fabulous quote. In her poem, Mysteries, yes, Mary Oliver wrote, "Truly, we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood. How grass can be nourishing in the mouths of the lambs, how rivers and stones are forever in allegiance with gravity, while we ourselves dream of rising. How two hands touch, and the bonds will never be broken. How people come from delight or the scars of damage to the comfort of a poem. Let me keep my distance always with those who think they have the answers. Let me keep company always with those who say, look, and laugh in astonishment and bow their heads. So being open to mystery, emptying our cups and filling them with the things that we choose to create. Putting aside that we think we know everything or anything and paying attention, being curious. We're a week into the new year now, an election year, so get ready for more hate and vitriol. But there's also some good news that is often overlooked, I think, and I wanted to share some of that with you. In 2023, some species were removed from the extinction list, which is fabulous news. The snow leopard, the humpback whales, the monarch butterflies, the black rhino, all removed from extinction. And that's not the end of the story. Many species are still at risk, of course, but at least a positive sign. In 2023, humanity installed 413 gigawatts of solar power, 58% more than 2022, 42% increase over 2021. In all, the world's solar capacity has doubled in the last 18 months. And solar power is the fastest growing energy technology in history. UNICEF reported that more than 50 million girls are in school today, more than 2015, that is, and that there are 5 million more girls completing all levels of education every year compared to 7 years ago. And between 2000 and 2022, 2.1 billion people have gained access to safe drinking water, 2.5 billion have gained access to safely managed sanitation, and the number of people using unimproved facilities has been halved. And the UN High Seas Treaty was signed in 2023, the first international agreement for ocean protection since 1982, providing the common governance of the half of the Earth's surface and paving the way for conservation on the high seas. They're trying to reduce by at least 30% by 2023, or that is protecting 30% of the planet by 2023. Let me say that again. They want to protect 30% of the planet by 2030, right? Right now, only 1% of the planet is protected by treaty, 1%. So just a few factoids to give us some hope as we plunge forward into this new year. So today, we're going to conclude our New Year's rituals. You know, we have 3 New Year's rituals that we do. We do the burning bowl and the white stone ceremony. And today is the letter from God. And it concludes our rituals for the year here. You should have received a piece of blank paper and an envelope and a pencil when you came in. Did everyone receive that? Anyone not have pencil and envelope? Look next to you, Don. So if we can have our ushers just keep your hands raised, and our ushers will come around and bring these to you. There's somebody up front here. If you're participating from home, I'm just going to invite you to take a pen and a pencil and a piece of paper and just have it with you during this exercise. Now, we've done this ritual every year for the past 23 years here, so many of you are familiar with it. But if it's your first time, you may be asking yourself, how can God write me a letter? You know, for many of us, the kind of God out there, the God of the, sitting on a cloud watching over us, that's not kind of our vision of God anymore for many of us. So you can think of this exercise really as a metaphor. It's the opportunity to let God within you, however you conceptualize that. So if you think about it as Christ or Holy Spirit or higher self, however you think of it, your inner guidance, of just allowing it to flow in and as you. So write as if God or Holy Spirit or higher power, write as if it's talking directly to you. That means that in the salutation, you would say dear and then your first name, dear Don in my case. There's a wisdom within you, we call it the Christ within, that wants to reveal itself with you. So you're invited to write, and not do this yet, we'll have first a song and meditation, but to write as without censorship. Just write whatever is coming to you, the first thing that comes to your mind. And if it doesn't come easily, or if it feels even silly, then I just invite you to stretch. Use your imagination. Imagination is one of our 12 powers, one of our divine attributes that God has given us. What kind of things do you imagine that God would say to you or write to you if God would do that? And remember the writing of Paul, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if God or Spirit could write you a letter, what words of affirmation or motivation or inspiration or appreciation or acknowledgement, what words would God say to you, right? I can tell you that every year when I do this exercise, somewhere in my letter are the words, "You are loved." Every single year. And I mail this letter to myself as well. So when I open it up, I'm oftentimes surprised by what has been written there. And when I see those words, "You are loved," almost every year, it just brings me such joy. And oftentimes comes when I've really needed it most. So I want to invite you to take out your pen and pencil and paper. Just have it ready. We'll have a song and meditation first. Don't write anything yet. But I would like you to take your envelope right now and self-address it. So just address it to yourself. Please make your writing clear and legible. And at the end of this exercise, I'm going to ask you to put your letter inside your envelope and then seal it. And it will be mailed to you sometime in 2024 when you least expect. Right? And if you're doing this from home, you can still do this exercise. Put it in an envelope, seal it, put it someplace safe where you're bound to find it sometime or another this year. Or you can seal your letter and mail it to me personally here at church. And I will resend it to you sometime in 2024. Just write on the outside of the envelope, "Do not open." Okay? And I'm happy to do that. So let's prepare for meditation. We're going to have a beautiful song from Davina, but please don't write anything yet.
Walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that held me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. And every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away.
So let's now just relax a little bit more into this time of silence. As we become more quiet, even more relaxed into this sacred time. And I invite you to allow your attention to continue to drop into silence, more and more quiet. And in this space, we ask some very powerful questions and just be still and listen. If God or Holy Spirit or higher power could speak to you, could write to you, what would it say? What does your deepest wisdom want to communicate with you? What understanding or healing is seeking to come to you, or a new way, a new quality of strength? What is that knocking at your door, perhaps? What passion has God placed in your heart that will allow you to serve the divine plan of spiritual awakening, not only for yourself, but for those that you love, for others, for our community, for our planet? What is God's perfect idea for your relationship, for your family, for your career, for your finances, for your health, for your spiritual unfoldment? And as we reflect on these things, we invite our ego, that self-critical part of us, just to be quiet, to be still for a moment. Maybe it doesn't go away completely, but we acknowledge that it's there. We just say, thank you for sharing. I hear you. But I get to choose how I want to fill my cup. So let's take a moment now in silence, and then when you feel comfortable, you can begin writing in silence. How many people need more time? Raise your hand.
I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. Walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. So today is the day I walk away.
So I want to leave you with three things. The first is from Dr. Seuss. You're off to great places. Today's your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. The second is, whatever your hopes and dreams are for 2024, whatever instructions or revelations you received in this letter from God, start, right? Start. Nothing happens if we don't start. And the last thing is, here is where we are. Here is where things are. All of the problems and all of the solutions, all right here. So, thank you. Oh, thank you. We should collect these. Can we have the ushers collect these, the envelopes? Make sure they're sealed and addressed. And if you, where are the ushers? They're buzzing them. Can you grab a basket and let's do that. There are baskets at the end of the back of the sanctuary. On your way out, drop off your envelope. Thank you, buddy. Good idea.
John, thank you for that.
I think you're not on. There you go.
Thank you for that inspiring message, that wonderful meditation. What a way to start the new year. And we get to choose, don't we? We get to choose. Well, now it's that time in our service where we have the opportunity to give back to Unity of Charlottesville of our time, our talents, our treasure, especially our treasure. It is your offering, your tithe, that supports this ministry. And we are so grateful to all that you give back to Unity of Charlottesville. So while you're gathering your offerings, your tithes, first I'd like to ask, is there anyone here that's here for the first time? You want to be brave and raise your hand? Welcome, welcome. We are so glad that you're here. If you're joining us online for the first time, please consider this our invitation to join us here in person in our sanctuary, Sunday mornings, 10:30. So now let's take our offering. If you're not giving in church, you can give online by texting to Tithely. The number is up on the screen. You also can mail a check to the church office. Whatever is convenient for you, we are more than happy to accept your offering in any form. So now let's bless our offering together, please. divine
My
love,
as
as
me,
me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thoughts of fear and lack. I have had anger. I have had guilt. These are the bricks on which my life's been built. But I'm free to turn it around. Yes, I'm free to turn it around. We're all free to turn it around. Free to look up instead of looking down. I get so tired of looking down. Hey, hey, hey. I've been attracted to negative thought. I get so distracted. I get so distraught. I am responsible, yeah, for my whole life. I gotta lift my chin up and look into the light. But I'm free to turn it around. Yes, I'm free to turn it around. Yes, I'm free to turn it around. Free to look up and still looking down. Yes, I'm free to turn it around. Yes, I'm free to turn it around. We're all free to turn it around. No more looking down. Yeah.
So let's invite Mark and our youth to come up.
We are walking as
the light of
God.
We are walking as the light of God.
We are
Walking as the light of God. We are walking as the light of God. We are walking. We are walking.
walking. We are walking as the light of God.
Light of God.
We are walking, walking. We are walking, walking. We are walking as the light of God.
Happy Sunday, everyone. My name is Reverend Mark. And today our topic of discussion was self-discovery and self-exploration. Who wants to talk about break down what we talked about?
Self-discovery is a way to expand your life, let yourself flourish, to be who you actually were supposed to be in the beginning. everything that you are is who you are, and you were created to be that way for a reason. And with you being you, it creates a better world for everyone. And to let you be you, it creates a better world in general.
Wonderfully said. Kia, you had something you wanted to add?
I just said, like, you can't judge people based on what other people say. So, like, in terms of self-discovery, you have to discover how other people are, instead of just listen to someone else say it. And that's what I think is really, really important, because people judge and they don't really actually know what they're talking about a lot of times. So.
That's true. Marley, did you have something, or?
Self-discovery is a never-ending process. Who you were is not who you are right now, and who you are will not be who you are in the future. So it's important to grow and learn and figure things out about yourself, because that will be your purpose, and your purpose dictates your entire life.
Good job. Good job, gang. This is my crew right here, let me tell you. And I just wanted to add by saying, after much discernment, I'm stepping aside as youth director here at Unity of Charlottesville to pursue some other ministerial pursuits of mine. And I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to work with your children. They've been a blessing to me. And I'd like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your kindness and your generosity. And I just want to thank you all for welcoming me into this community. And I just want to affirm nothing but divine blessings for this wonderful spiritual community and for this youth ed department. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Can we say what you're doing?
Some of you may know, I've been working at the University of Virginia as a chaplain. And so I'm going to continue to pursue that role and work towards becoming board certified. So that's where I'll be. But I'll still be here. I won't be a stranger.
Yeah.
So.
I was just going to say, that's, if you want to see Mark, that's not the way to do it, ending up in UVA.
No. That's not the way to see me. I'll come back. It's best to see me here than there.
So can I just say how much we appreciated having you here, and just your wisdom, your work with the youth and teens. You guys, how are you feeling about Mark leaving? Are you okay? Sad? Happy? Not happy? No.
I'll still see you. So.
Well, and we have work to do. Obviously, we have to build. Mark will be here till the end of January in this capacity, and we have work to do. We have a youth education program to continue and to build. So if you have ideas or you want to volunteer and step up to be teachers or whatever, these will be the conversations we'll be having. But I would just value you and appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we end by blessing these children? Children, Uniteens, YOUers, teachers, and parents, you are loved, special, and important. Amen.
Thank you, guys.
And we'd like to remind you that we do have a pastoral care team here at Unity of Charlottesville. So if you have a need, reach out to the church office. You can go on our website and fill out a form. There are people here that can help you in that capacity.
So I just want to thank everybody that Maggie is back from Prague for the day. So she'll be leaving us again to go back to school. But thank you, Maggie and Greg up there. And we have Buddy Leffers and Tony and Tamsin and Barbara on our blessing team, and Reverend Mark on our youth. And of course, our Davina Jackson. Thank you so much, Davina, for being here. And our wonderful music team here, Blair and Ty, Blue, Jim, Stevie, Kevin, thank you so much. And of course, thank you, Peggy, for being CA today. So a reminder that the Healing Helpers will be back here in the corner. Buddy Leffers is here if you'd like individual prayers. Fellowship is right through these doors at the end of the service. And the art show is there, our library is down there. And Jean Monister, you're starting right after church on the bling removal. Okay, all right, thanks. So please stand and let's join for our prayer for protection. So together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and wherever God is, all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, and then you can choose whatever you want to fill your cup with. You can do it. Happy New Year.
Blues in G.
Turn it around. Oh, yes, He will. God's gonna turn it around. He's gonna turn it around. He's gonna turn it around. Yeah. No one looking down. He's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it. Whoa.